Hello everyone, my name is Tracy Glasgow and this is my community health assessment on Boonsboro, Maryland. So Boonsboro, Maryland is a small town that's located in Washington County, Maryland, which is a county that's located in northwest Maryland. It borders Frederick County. The town itself is at the foot of the South Mountain, and the town is about 63 miles from Washington, D.C., from our nation's capital. It is definitely a small rural town. It's only 2.91 square miles, so it's very, very small. It's easy to actually walk it in under an hour. Elevation for the town is 544 feet, and as you can see in the picture, it's a small historic town. The population in 2017 was only about 3,500, so definitely a small town. The breakdown between men and women is actually pretty even, with males outnumbering females just slightly. The ethnicities represented within the town, it's not very diverse. 93% of the residents are Caucasian, with 2.7% Hispanic, 2% African American, and about 1% Asian. About 1.5% of the population are separated when it comes to marital status, 8.6% are widowed, and about 17.3% are divorced. The educational level represented from the town is actually pretty good. At 93.1% of residents have a high school diploma or higher. And of those graduates, 51% have a bachelor's degree or higher. The poverty rate within the town is listed at 9.6%, which is well below the national average at 15.1%. One of the things I noticed in town was you will see some trailer homes and some smaller homes and things like that. With the poverty rate being as low as it is, only about 20% of school children actually qualify and participate in the free and reduced meal program, which is also known as the farm program in Washington County. The South County Food Pantry is another service that provides meals and groceries to residents of Washington County that are lower income. In order to receive those benefits, residents must be, one, a resident of Washington County specifically, and must meet an additional criteria, which can be you either have to be currently receiving food stamps or be receiving unemployment, things like that. The Women, Infants, and Children program, also known as WIC program, is also widely accepted at local grocery stores and local stores. With the socioeconomic status of the town, it's kind of a mix between anywhere from middle class to upper middle class, depending on where you live and specifically what your job is. The median home value in Boonsboro is about $222,000, which is relatively affordable. The median income is about $60,000, where men earn about $38,000 and women are earning $27,000. So there is a wage disparity between men and women, unfortunately. The occupations that were represented within town is going to be administrative, management, production, and sales. Administrative, if you kind of work in town at some of the small businesses, or you're managing your own small business, things like that. However, majority of the residents do commute outside of Boonsboro to get to their jobs, anywhere from Frederick, Baltimore, Rockville, Northern Virginia, places like that are either local or a little bit further away. The local government is actually pretty well set up. It's governed by a mayor and a town council. And there's 8 subsections that are the main kind of governing and ruling bodies within the town. And those are the municipal utilities, the park board, public safety committee, planning commission, board of zoning and appeals, development commission, environmental commission, and the regional water board. Each of these entities is responsible for running things like the park board is making sure that the parks are maintained, they're clean, they're safe places to be, like for Schaefer Park, which is a local park right in town. Board of Zoning and Appeals, you would be seeing if you were going to be building a home, it needed permits, things like that. The town council actually meets monthly to address the community needs, and all of those town council meetings are open to the public, with the exception of the executive meetings, where it will just be the town council and the mayor meeting in private meetings. Of those different departments that we discussed earlier, they all meet monthly as well, and they have an available calendar on their local website to show when the meetings will be, what they're going to be discussing, and kind of what the current needs and current issues being brought up within the community are. So one of the things that they also talk about is from the water board. So the water in town is actually supplied by a thing called the Thomastown Dolomite. And the Thomastown Dolomite is supplied by local wells, springs, lakes, and rivers. And that water itself is actually treated within Boonesboro at the Boonesboro treatment plant, as well as Keedysville, which is another local treatment plant for that water. So during the windshield survey, because it's such a small town, it's very easy to kind of get around the town and view everything as a whole. It's a really good mix of historic and new construction. The main street is going to have lots of those older historic buildings that have been there for a really long time, those kind of brick and mortar buildings. The new construction can be brick as well, and they tend to be much larger homes. Some of the larger homes I saw were at least 6,000 square feet, which is much larger than some of those smaller row homes that you see on the main street. There was 3 public schools I saw, which was going to be Boonesboro Elementary, Boonesboro Middle, and Boonesboro High School. And there are a few small private schools, but they were all mainly run through local churches, so different Baptist academies, things like that. But there is really a small amount, only 1 or 2 that I saw. There's actually no hospital located within Boonesboro. The closest hospital is going to be Meredith Health Center, which is in Hagerstown, which is about 10 miles away. Meredith Health is kind of the governing body for their healthcare system within Washington County. Washington County used to have a hospital named Washington County Hospital, but it was recently closed a few years ago. So now the big hospital is going to be Meredith Health, and that is kind of where everyone goes for their care. There were lots of different doctors' offices. There was pediatricians' offices. You can see the signs from the road. Primary care physicians, things like that. A local veterinary clinic. So all of the basics that you would assume and we would find in town were also there as well. There was a local grocery store. The Weiss grocery store is the one that's located in town. Anything bigger that people are looking for is all pretty much going to be in Hagerstown, which is about 10 miles away. The traffic in the town isn't really much of a problem at all because it's so small and it's kind of spread out once you get outside of the main area, that traffic is going to be a bigger issue when you're commuting to and from the town. Boonesboro is accessed by Route 70 and Route 40. Those are huge roads. Route 70 accesses kind of points western of the state, such as like if you're going towards Ohio and all of that, and goes all the way to Baltimore as well. So when you're coming into work in the morning, if you're headed eastbound, which is back towards Baltimore and DC, you're going to have a lot of traffic backup on Route 70 in the mornings getting into work, into the city. And vice versa, on the evenings after work, you're going to be fighting that traffic westbound as you come on Route 70, where it backs up as everyone's kind of headed back home. The community health needs that were addressed were obesity, smoking, and sleep disturbances. 42% of the population is obese, which is pretty high. It's nearly half. And most of the residents stated it was due to sedentary lifestyle and unhealthy eating habits, as well as just a lack of knowledge about what it takes to keep yourself from gaining that much weight. 53% of the population uses tobacco products, whether it be pipes, cigarettes, cigars, dip, any of those types of things. And 38% of the population reported sleep disturbances, such as not getting enough sleep in general, difficulty falling asleep, and difficulty maintaining that sleep, whether it be from noise or just any issues that are kind of going on within their lives. A fun fact about Boonesboro, it is the home of Nora Roberts, the famous author. She has lived there for about 30 years with her husband and owns 2 businesses within town, and then also owns 2 restaurants within town. The main business is going to be the Inn Boonesboro, which was an older inn that was in town for a long time. Her and her husband purchased it and redid it. And unfortunately, during that reconstruction process, a fire ripped through the building and destroyed it. They since redid the building, and it is now up and running. The Inn Boonesboro has 8 rooms and is open, available, and all year round for guests. And they also own the Turn the Page bookstore and cafe, where they have book club meetings and things like that, which is pretty interesting. Overall, Boonesboro is a very nice small town that had a really good small town feel. You felt very comfortable being there. It had an air of kind of comfort and kind of camaraderie. Everyone seems to know everybody unless you were someone who was newer to town and kind of lived on the outskirts in some of the newer homes. But overall, everyone was very friendly. It was a nice looking town. It wasn't very trashed. It was very clean. It was maintained well. It was just a nice area to kind of walk around and explore. Due to the small population, it was hard to kind of find people to talk to. But going to the local library and stores, I was able to talk to lots of people and kind of found out a little bit more about the town and kind of what they feel is important to them and how they feel about their town. And they've all stated that they love the small town feel. They like the fact that they can be more comfortable with not even locking their doors at night, which is something that most people are not really used to. Overall, Boonesboro does have some community health needs that are definitely along the lines of other cities. Obesity, smoking, things like that. But Washington County does address these issues and kind of make strides to continue and help the residents of the small town and county thrive as well. Overall, Boonesboro is a very quaint little town and actually does very, very well for itself. I wouldn't mind moving there myself. But that's kind of it about Boonesboro, so thank you so much.